Hello, everyone. It's the Black Prospector coming at you with a question today. Investing in a car, a muscle car, any car as a complete restoration, is it the same as investing into a woman that you do not have anything in common with? So that's what I want to throw out here because, I had a good conversation with someone. These are some of the things I think men need to think about as they begin to start investing time and energy. I don't care whether they are 18 years old or whether they're 78 years old, because really how we do things later on in life is just a continuation of how we did things early in life. So, as always, this channel and my content is really dedicated to men who are starting over, men in their mid 40s, maybe recently divorced, or maybe some men who are married and just, really are beginning to find themselves and awaken themselves in terms of their life, whether we're talking about their fitness, whether we're talking about their family, whether we're talking about their relationships. And so I'm throwing this out there because I was having a recent conversation with someone, and even with my girl, on having something in common. We often will say, oh, well, I have nothing in common with that person. But we started out having something in common with them early on in the relationship. So, for example, I've noticed that many times, many ladies, and I've talked to a lot, that have been, let's just say, in their 40s and 50s, maybe even 60s, where they are saying, well, when I started dating the guy, we seem to have a lot in common. But then as we were dating, we got married. Well, now we just kind of went our separate ways. We don't have anything in common anymore. And then I asked the question, well, what did you have in common in the first place? And oftentimes what I would find is that the women would change what they like to do early on in the relationship when they're trying to impress the guy. Pro tip for you guys out there. If you ever really want to wonder if your woman is cheating on you, or even if you're dating and let's say, y'all have an open relationship, but, she's beginning to drift away with another guy, one of the ways you can tell is she all of a sudden liking a different sports team? Is she looking at maybe some cars that normally she could have cared less about cars, but now she happens to like that kind of car for the very first time? Does she start listening to music? I remember there was one woman I was talking to where, I knew that she was beginning to kick it with another dude because all of a sudden this dude was from the Caribbean and all of a sudden she's now digging Caribbean music. And it was like, where'd this come from? So, because all of a sudden when she was kicking it with me, her music tastes were leaning more toward old school hip hop, etc. So, but that was the spirit. A woman takes on the spirit of the man that she's kicking it with. And so a lot of times when a woman is dating a guy, she begins to change who she is normally because she likes that man. And so if he's the type of guy that likes, let's say, sports, and normally she really doesn't like sports, she doesn't follow it the way most of us guys follow sports. And there are some. I know some women that are true diehard. They know the players, etc. So again, we're talking about the bell curve, the main part of the population in the middle. So let's say she doesn't really follow sports that much, but all of a sudden, you are a sports guy. You are a football junkie. Your favorite team, shout out, since I'm wearing my Detroit Lion colors, I got my blue and silver on. I got blue. So I'm gonna represent the Lions today because people who know me know that, that's not something I would normally do. So all of a sudden, you living out somewhere way away from Detroit, but you are a Detroit Lion fan. And you start dating a girl who didn't really care that much about football. And maybe she was a Cowboy fan. Maybe, let's really be blasphemous for the Lions. Maybe she was a Chicago Bear fan. A Green Bay Packer fan. And all of a sudden, you start kicking it with her. And she's like, I like the Lions. You're like, you want to go to a football game? She's like, yeah, let's go ahead and go. She's going to the game to be with you. She's not going to see Jeff Goff. She's not going to see any of the Lion receivers, not that high-powered offense. She's not going to see if the coach is going to go for it on 4th and 20. She's going to be with you. She's not going because she's a football fan. So y'all kicking it, and then y'all date. She likes football more and more. Next thing you know, she's wearing, Honolulu blue and silver, and she got her Lion sweatshirt and her Lion clothes, and then you get married to her. And you're like, baby, you want to go to a football game? Matter of fact, baby, I want to go ahead and buy some season tickets because I know you like football. How about we do that? And she's like, I don't want to go. Happens once, happens twice. Then it's like, well, why are you buying season tickets? Like, because I like football. I thought we both like football. What's up? And she's like, no, I don't want to. I think that's a waste of money. We need this. The kids need this, blah, blah. And now you're like, what happened to my girl that liked football? And you realize that's still the same woman. She didn't like football because she liked football. She liked football because she was with you. And a man needs to recognize that. But what we often do as men, we get fooled with that. And then we think, oh, well, she's changed. And yes, I do believe there's some truth that a woman marries a man hoping that he will change, and a man marries a woman hoping that she will never change. Hence why our divorce rate is what it is. But she didn't like football. What she liked was being with you. Men, if you are out here dating right now, again, I don't care your age. Stop thinking like, oh, we got so much in common. She's really into this and she's really into this. And this is why for you young men that get into relationships so soon, first of all, you don't know her well enough. You don't know her people well enough. You don't know her parents well enough. You don't know her, and she probably doesn't even know herself well enough to really, truly know what she really likes. So then you marry her, and then in 10, 15, 20 years, maybe less, especially when kids come, you say, oh, we've drifted apart. You might not have drifted apart. She was going in this direction anyway, and you were heading in that direction. And now the tension is both of y'all trying to have something in common and be together when really, even if you would never have met, you probably would not have ended up being that close in the first place. Now, of course, for people who get married, especially when you're younger, those are just things you have to work out. We can do some more, have those discussions. And you can reach out and contact me, blackprospector@gmail.com. We can set up a consultation and we can talk, because you need to work that out, especially if you have kids. But at the end of the day, a lot of people still do that. And if you end up dating someone later on in life, when you know yourself well enough, and hopefully she knows a little bit more about herself, you can then start really analyzing, what does this person really like to do? For those of you who are in this dating market and you're in your 40s, you know what you start to realize real fast? There are a lot of men and women that don't like to do anything but be 420 friendly, watch Netflix, and eat. And sleep occasionally. Because a lot of folks can't even sleep because they have such poor lifestyle habits. They get, pretty much no sleep, but they think they function well off of 4 and 5 hours a day. That's what they like to do. So if you like working out, you roll up and it's like, oh, they seem to like working out. I cannot tell you the number of women that I've talked to that have gone to the gym with me. Can't tell you. It's been almost every single one of them have gone to the gym with me. The number that I know, doing some quick tally, that work out on their own, period. Long after me, whatever. Off the top of my head, I can only think of one. That's it. Because they were willing to go to the gym to be with me. And they want to go to the gym. They want to be in the working out. But that's not something they would do on their own. Now, again, if I was 20, 25, I'd be like, she likes to work out. She going to keep her body tight too. But then when you get older, you become a G in the game. At my age, no, you realize, I know she's going just to be with me. And I know she's going because she wants to work out. But this woman don't love the gym. She don't have that love for the gym. She's not going to work out unless she's either feeling really fat, trying to go ahead and get in shape to get with the next guy, or there may be a health problem. And now, of course, since I'm a trainer, you can reach out and contact me for training as well, or follow me on blackprospectorconditioning.com. But if that's the case, or Black Prospector Conditioning on YouTube, that's it. Black Prospector Conditioning on YouTube. Follow me there. Check out the YouTube videos. But at the end of the day, this isn't her life. This is my life. I would be a fool to think that, she likes to train because she's going to the gym with me. And that's what a lot of you young guys, that's the trap you fall into. So let's go back to my original question. I didn't forget about it. Where people end up making the mistake is that they start investing in a relationship and the guy starts to give up things or he starts to invest like, oh, we got all of this in common. And she begins to change early on. So y'all can spend time together, have that compatibility together. And I'm not talking about saying you're never going to do something that the other person likes. I'm talking where you both do things you like to do. And that now signifies that we both really like to travel. Maybe we both like to work out. Maybe we both like to go biking, whatever it is, because they do it whether you're there or whether you're not there. And you do it whether they're there or whether they are not there. Most people only do it because they're together. So then the man starts investing early on. He thinks she likes to work out. He thinks she likes the Detroit Lions. He thinks all of this. And he begins to invest in the relationship. But here's what I'm going to tell you, man. Difficulties here, so we are back. So when a man invests and he puts so much time and energy to trying to make this relationship work, because now he sees that, well, maybe we don't have that much in common. So I am going to really try to persuade her to like the things that I like, to do all the things that I do so we can get closer. Sir, it's no different than you investing in that car. It's no different than you getting that 1970 Chevelle and it has a 350 in it. And you decide, you know, I want to go ahead and really totally restore this car. I am going to cut out all the rust. I am going to put some SS Kragers on and take off some of those rallies, but you know, you always got to keep the rallies in the garage in case, you know, still worth something. I am going to go find me a 455 crate motor. I'm going to drop that in and I'm going to do all these upgrades, put chrome everywhere, bulletproof everything in that car, especially the rear end, etc. You're going to do all of these things to it. You're going to do a new paint job. And what you end up finding is that you now have invested $50,000, $75,000. Some of you guys probably have restorations well into the six figures. And in your mind, you're thinking, I'm going to take this to Mecum, I'm going to take this to Barrett Jackson and make all this money. And then you actually put it out on Facebook Marketplace or bring a trailer or whatever it is. And you realize, well, you might get 50 grand out of it, which is a good chunk of change. Some of you probably won't even get that much depending on what the car is. But you did not get out nearly as much as you invested in that. Does that mean that the restoration was useless? No, it means something to you. But I want you to understand, the investment that you made, that is a restoration completely and utterly for you. You will not get a return on your investment monetarily for equaling what you put in. Now, you may get fun out of that car during the time that you have it, but when you need to sell, and this is the key thing, when you need to sell, don't be mad that someone doesn't pay you for what you've invested into it. That was you who invested into that. Because as I was telling this one brother, and in this case, because I bought a car from him, my Mustang GT, I wanted a car that was fast out the box. I didn't want to find a Fox body Mustang to put money into it to make it a 12-second car. I wanted something right now that at least bone stock is going to be faster than anything I've ever owned before. I wanted something out the box, completely stock, that I can go around some curves and not feel like the car is just going to easily go ahead and, you know, as they say, be a crowd killer. I wanted something out the box that was comfortable where I can get in there, turn my AC on, put my speakers on, my music on, and roll for 1,000 miles and feel great. And maybe even have heated, cool seats and climate control instead of putting a big, massive subwoofer in the back, taking up all my trunk space and taking all the other accessories out because I want the car to go faster in the first place. And it's just not comfortable. Do 1,000 miles, it ain't comfortable to do 10 miles in. But there are some elements of it that you love because of what it is. But I wanted something that I did not have to invest and spend a whole lot of money into. My investment was initially up front because it was what I really wanted. So there is no restoration that needs to take place at this point. It is what I want right now. And that's what you should be looking for in your woman now. Look for a woman that you don't have to try to invest all this energy to try to make sure y'all have this in common and make sure she likes you and you start changing stuff that you like to do because she likes to do it, etc. Be who you are now and let her be the woman that she is now. That way, y'all can be that perfect fit. That way, you can rock with her. And let's say she is not that woman. Be willing to let her go. Because it will be far better to keep your investment low and let her go off to someone else than for you to invest. And when it ends anyway, and odds are great, it's going to end. When it ends, now you pissed, now you mad at everybody, but the worst person you're mad at is yourself, because you realize you invested. And if you would have just had your eyes open of all the rust that was underneath there, if you would have just had your eyes open of the real expense that while you're sitting there waiting, back in the old days, we would wait on Ram chargers to deliver high performance parts. So while you're waiting on the Amazon or whoever you ordered your parts from, you're waiting on that. And while you go install them, you bust up all of your knuckles and your fingers feel like you got carpal tunnel because you're so used to turning bolts and screws like this. And you realize, man, all that labor, and this is how it ends. It's almost like restoring a muscle car. And because it's registered with the insurance company as a 1972 Dodge Dart with a slant six, but yet you made it into a Dodge Dart with a 426 Max Wedge. And you find out it actually got into a car accident. And the insurance company says, this car is only worth $500, $800. And you're like, are you kidding me? My engine alone was worth $18,000. And the insurance company is like, but this is all that it's actually worth. You didn't tell us about. And you realize this is how it ends. This is how it all goes down. But what about? There are no but what abouts at that point. Men, invest wisely. This is becoming a recurring theme on here. Invest wisely. Don't try to make that woman into something that she's not. If she is not a woman that has things in common with you, if she doesn't like the Detroit Lions, big deal. That's fine. That makes for good conversation. But if she does not like football and you love it. If she does not like fitness, and that's important to you because you want her to look good and you also want her to support you. You don't want her sabotaging you with all the food in the house while you trying to just keep controlling your weight. If that's important to you, and whatever it is, I'm fine with a woman not going to the gym. I want her to look like she go to the gym, but I'm fine that she doesn't go because that's my time anyway. I'm good with that. I was just on a cruise. I went to the gym every single day on that cruise because I was eating like 6,000 or 7,000 calories in the buffet and stuff. But to me, I was living like a bodybuilder. I ate, I slept, and I went to the gym. That was it. I mean, of course, I did all other stuff. You can go check that out on Black Prospectors channel for travel. Yes, I got a travel channel as well. Go check that out, The Prospector's Way. So, but y'all like, man, this dude got all these channels. I'm trying to go ahead. Why? Because even if a woman ever said, well, who are you? You know what I can do? I can give her 6 or 7 YouTube channels. Baby, this is me. These are all these videos. You won't find a woman in these videos. You might, but these channels aren't created because of a woman. These channels are created because this is me. This is who I am, which means I'm going to be out here doing this car stuff. Rise My Dad Had, check out that channel. I'm going to be doing Rise My Dad Had with or without you. I'm going to be going on Black Prospector Adventures with or without you. I'm going to be doing Black Prospector Conditioning, going to that gym with or without you. This is me. Now here's the question. Who are you? Who are you? Because if you like to just get blunted up, if you like just to eat, if you like just to relax and chill, where I live, casinos are a big thing. If that's all a woman wants to do, that ain't my thing. It's going to be some problems. We don't have anything in common. Therefore, why am I going to invest more in you? A lot of times ladies think, well, he doesn't want to invest because he's seeing other women. It has nothing to do with it. no more than, it's like, I don't want to drive my car because I have other cars. Well, no, the car I like to be in for what I want to do is the car that I drive. I love my Luda. I love it, but the Mustang's better. But there are times, just this morning, I was in Luda. But the main point is, it doesn't take away. I just know what is worth investing in and what isn't for me. Gentlemen, do you know that about yourself? What woman is worth investing in where you can get a much better return on your investment? So to conclude, the best return on your investment for your time, your energy, and your finances, the best return on that investment is going to be a woman that already is doing the things that you like to do, that y'all already have in common. And inspect her life. Vet her for that. Don't just go by the fact that she's doing it with you. Go check out her IG. You want to check out her social media, instead of looking for the other pics or even looking for another dude or looking at her, thirst trapping on there with pictures. Why don't you just look on her IG and see what she likes to do? Where does she like to go? A lot of women, you'll read dating profiles left and right. A woman says, oh, I love to travel. I love to travel. Well, then where is she going on her own? And why does she need me to do it? She either wants me to pay or she wants my companionship. And if she wants me to pay, that ain't gonna happen. And if she wants my companionship, then why isn't she paying me? Because what she's gonna probably try to give me for being a companion on that trip, I could probably go there anyway and get that kind of companionship from somebody else. So again, what am I getting out of the deal? And so at the end of the day, gentlemen, this is what you need to start thinking about. And I hope you do. Don't try to make something work that doesn't work. In the words of Houdini, besides making love, we had nothing in common. And for a lot of you guys, that's really the only thing you got in common with that chick is fighting in that bed. And for some of these chicks and some of you guys, you love to go ahead and have what they call makeup sex. And you love chicks that are a little crazy because you say a little bit of cray cray, that makes them good in bed. I hope you enjoy that. See how that feels in a relationship though. Because outside of that fighting, besides the makeup sex, besides any of that, y'all really don't have anything in common. But you're going to continue to invest, aren't you? You're going to continue putting things into her, aren't you? You're going to continue putting your time, your energy. You're going to continue doing that, aren't you? You want to go ahead and put your finances in that, right? A lot of you got a fetish. People are like, what's your fet? Well, maybe we should look at it like this. Let me tell you what my fet is. What am I going to put my finances, my energy, and my time into? That's the only fet I'm looking for. I mean, I do like some other fets. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I gotta tell y'all the truth. I do like some other fets. But main thing, that's the main fet that I'm interested in. Where does this woman put her finances? Where does she put her energy? And where does she put her time? And when I look at all of those things, if that aligns up with who the Black Prospector is, man, that's a drama-less relationship. I don't have to make something fit. That's something that's worth me investing in. That's something I can rock with. And it's easy because, as I always say, when it's good and it's right, it's easy. And a lot of you are so used to having relationship problems and fighting with your girl. And people say, well, relationships need work. They all a struggle. You're all not going to have things in common all the time. And people, it's got to work and struggle. When a person tells me that tells me everything I pretty much need to know about their relationship. They are now trying to cover their investment costs because they realize they're getting very little in return. So now they're trying to justify it. And they're trying to say all relationships are like that. No, I want my relationship like I want my Mustang. I want it to be clean. I don't want it to give me any problems and any struggles. I want it to be reliable. And I want it to do what I want it to do when it's time for it to do it. And what that woman realizes is that is exactly what she gets from me as well. And you may say, oh, what happens when your ride gets X amount of miles on it? Then that's the understanding. But sometimes you realize that there are a lot of miles that are put on that car. You enjoy doing them, and that makes you want to invest more into the car to keep it. And then you're looking at what it cost you. It gets extrapolated over many years, and it is worth it to you. And when it's gone, you just charge to the game because you realize this was what I invested, but I got a lot out of it. A lot of you married guys, you've invested so much over so many years. And then when you go to that divorce court, you want to know the real pain? You realize you didn't really get nothing out of it. You really didn't get nothing out of your investment. And that's what hurts. You didn't get any joy. You put a lot of your finances in. You put so much of your energy in. You put a lot of your time in. You put a lot into that Fed. But at the end of the day, man, you didn't get much joy. You didn't get much excitement. You didn't get much satisfaction. You just got pain because all relationships are like that. All of relationships are a struggle. I mean, you know, happy wife, happy life, man. I mean, what can you expect? I mean, you know, it's all relationships are. You know what, man? Not all relationships are like that. I have a saying. I love it when a relationship goes well. And sometimes, you know, for a lot of you guys, you're happy that it's 70% good because you're so used to 40 all your life. From the time that you were writing, I like you, if you like me too, circle yes or no. You've been happy with 50% relationships for so much of your life. And now, even if I experience something with a woman that I'm getting 70 or 80% of happiness, that's great. That's great. A lot of y'all will be wifing that up. Now I'm a man that requires 100%. Does that mean everything is perfect? No, because I'm involved. That makes it flawed because I'm there. I'm a flawed dude. But I'm talking about in its totality. Y'all know what I mean. Don't act stupid with the nuances. I'm talking about in general. When you get 100% of a woman, you realize the 70 or 80 isn't good enough. But if you're always used to just operating at a 40 or 50% level, that's why a lot of you, as soon as you get divorced, you run and get remarried because now you're experiencing 60 to 65, only to then end up in the same boat you originally were in because the amount of investment on her end tends to decrease with marriage, with commitment. And now you're mad again. You're only getting 40%. And you know why? Because you never changed. You never figured out what your real fet was. And therefore, you went and got yourself in the same type of marriage that you were in the first time. Doesn't have to be that way, man. Please invest and look inwardly first. Figure out who you are and what you like to do. Find a woman that has many of those similar interests. And the ones that she does not have, y'all don't have in common, let her go off and enjoy that part of life, and you go off and enjoy that part of life. But you must know the things that are vital and important to you. Because if you haven't figured that out, how in the world are you ever going to know what you should be looking for in her? And here's the key thing, and vice versa. If she hasn't figured that out, and if she has this need and she wants it, but she can't attain it, but you can help her attain that, then you need to operate just as she does with that little putty tat that's between her legs. She recognizes this bad boy got some value. So I don't give it away easy. That's why I ain't trying to give it to you on the first date, or maybe even the second date, or maybe in the fifth date, or maybe I'm gonna say you gotta have a ring because this little putty tat got some value. Then men, when you realize what she actually needs and wants from you has value, you need to be the same way with your fets, your finances, your energy, and your time. And you need to say, this has value too, because this is what you want. And that's where you now put it all on the table. No covert contracts. Baby, this is what I bring, and I know this is what you want. And she's saying, well, baby, this is what I bring, and I know this is what you want. And whenever we aren't giving this to each other, then maybe it's time for us to go our separate ways. But now, this is the advantage you could have getting into relationships older. This is why a lot of you young guys shouldn't be so quick to get and marry up and wife up a woman when you haven't even had those conversations internally to understand what you want, let alone your balls haven't dropped big enough to where you can even have that conversation with a woman. You can't even sit there and tell her to pay, let alone have the conversation that I'm talking about. Topic for another video. I'm going to end this now. If you like the content, please like, subscribe, share, check out some of the other channels. I'm going to be talking more relationship stuff on this one, kind of explaining my journey of how I got to where I'm at. If you want some training and fitness discussion, check out Black Prospector Conditioning. If you want to talk more about rides, want to listen to rides and interviews that I've had with men and their cars and some of my adventures, more about my Mustang, more about Luda, more about things that other brothers had, check out Rides My Dad Had on YouTube as well. I'm going to put links below. Thank you all for joining me. Prospectors, let's take that third path. Develop your own solution so you can truly dig for the goal that you want in your life. And that's not found in a woman. That's found inside you. Peace.